Yeah, and welcome to another lesson. I'm Brett Papa, and today is all about how do we get that Hendrix just awesome double stop thing into a more modern style of guitar playing, be it country music, pop rock, like a kind of like a Journey style band. No, they're not that modern, but you know what? Well, actually, they're still around. Journey. Any of these kind of more melodic style solos, not typical blues-based soloing like Stevie Ray Vaughan or Albert King or something like that, right? So, one of the things that will help is a lesson down below in the description box. It's all about how to spot chord tones when soloing in major pentatonic. So, use that as a reference point. It's not on YouTube, but it's a 3-part series, and I promise that will help you out and to help you understand more about what I'm going to do here. So what I'm doing is I'm taking E major pentatonic, and I'm really just thinking about, different positions of E major pentatonic in the beginning, like that little lick I did in the very beginning, and where I can find E chords in my pentatonic positions, right? So in the first little lick, I did this E chord. It looks like a D chord, but it's actually an E, right? It spells E. And then I took, and that's out of position 3 of major pentatonic. And then I took this one, which is out of position 2 of my E major pentatonic. And then I went to here, which is my position 1, right? I got my E chord here, right? The back side of this E chord. Or it can be this, shape of an E chord, like, right? And then I went down to position 5, where I used it kind of as a transition point. But from then, I used the same scale, right? And I switched modes. I went to more of the relative sound, right, of the C sharp minor. Same scale, though. Right? And then I played right out of these chords, and then I switched to the E major scale, although it still sounded kind of minor, right? But I'm still thinking predominantly in my, chord shapes. And that's where the Hendrix thing comes in. The Hendrix mode of playing, be it like, Bold as Love or Little Wing or Castles Made of Sand or any of these amazing R&B style things he did, all he's doing, if you want to think from a scale standpoint, is you take the scales and you look for the chord fragments of your progression inside those, or, right, you just kind of find out little tricks on how to play around chords to get that Hendrix style, and then, put that into your scales that you know already. I'm going to put some playlist at the end of this video that goes all over the Hendrix stuff that I do, and it'll really open your eyes to the Hendrix aspect of this playing, and then the video down below will really help you, kind of see the chord tones and all that stuff. So, what we can do is, the beginning lick, I took this E chord, and I'm basically just creating a lick out of that E chord, right? So I'm hitting the third of my E chord, right? And I kind of borrow from the major, almost like if we did a suspended version of that chord. And then one of the things that really works in major is rolling over, right? Not just playing like that, but, and then go, right? So instead of go, right? So it's that rolling over. And that in itself is almost more chordal when you think about it, right? It kind of shapes. Okay, so. And then I move down to this E chord, right, in position 2 of major pentatonic. Right, so we got. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is reiterate that chord. That's a typical blues lick. But again, we're playing the notes of the chord right here and right here. Right, so. And then I'm going to shift quickly to position 1. Okay, and that's playing out of this E chord right here. Right, so you can roll over like I was saying. And this is where I'll enter that kind of Hendrix phase. And then the double stop. Now the simple double stop trick is to take 2 of the notes of the chord. Again, I'm taking 2 of the notes of this E chord, right? I got the 5th of the chord in the root. And I'm going to hammer on the lower of the 2 strings in my double stop. And you want that higher string to still be ringing while you do that. Or sometimes you hit it twice. And then do a hammer on and pull off. And it really sounds good if you roll over. Right? Instead of... It sounds good too. But it sounds real like R&B-ish, or I don't know. I just really like the sound of that rolling over in this game. And then I just walk down. There's my, chord right there. So, and then slide up, and then I hit my root. Now from there, right? So we got. Potential chord progression, the C sharp minor chord, and I played a lick right out of that. And you can still do that and make that Hendrix and the minor. Often on these E shape, the big chords from E to E, when you're in minor, you can really do the double stop thing right there, and it's going to work great. Think of songs like All Along the Watchtower and stuff like that, where they're just playing right out of that. Right, so it's that kind of approach where you're just playing right out of the chord. And then I went down to a B chord, which is the 5, and I just used some notes. Again, if you're looking at it more from a pentatonic standpoint, this would be position 5. Now I entered this note in here because my B chord, right? That third's in there. So I can use it. And then I did the same thing. I went from B to A, which is another chord, right? The 4 chord. And I played out of that. And if you want to think about scales again, that would be, right? Position 4 of your major pentatonic. Right? So. And then I went to a B. Right? And you can still use that same scale. So I'm using my scale shape, but I'm eyeing this chord, right? Play the A here again. Okay, and now I'm right where that other octave was of my E chord here or my E chord here. And at that point, right? So the trick is finding, if you're more of a scale thinker, right? Try to see where those chords in your progressions sit inside of those scales, right? So like I said, the C sharp minor could be in position 4. Right? This B could be in position 3 if you want to look at it that way. A can be in this one. Right? Again, position 4. just take fragments of those chords together. Right, so here's my scale. Check this out. You can do this. Over the E. Because those two will work over an A or an E. You can roll over. Right, so the trick is to kind of get those Hendrix chord ideas. Again, I'll leave a playlist at the end that'll show you all the tricks to the Hendrix chords and how to do them. And then it's finding a way to look at your pentatonic bass playing and not make it so, blues based like Stevie Ray Vaughan and all that stuff. While it's great and it's amazing to have those licks, and you should by all means learn Texas style, Chicago style, all these different styles of blues, even West Coast blues, right? Learn all these different kinds of styles. But then major pentatonic playing is its own kind of thing too. Listen to rock and pop and stuff like that. So you're learning a new way to play those scales. And like I said, one of my favorite ways is rolling over, right? Instead of going, I'll go. Right? That's one of the ways. So you roll over. Or stacking, and what I mean by that is you kind of do that same thing on this side of the scale. Now, another thing that you can do is, again, keep in mind when these chords have notes that aren't in your pentatonic scale. So that's a way to modernize it, right? You don't play licks like typical blues bass licks like your Texas style, Chicago style lick. You kind of try to find more ways to incorporate maybe even the major scale in there and more chord tones from your chord progression. That'll kind of start stepping you out of that frame of thinking, right? Into a more melodic, kind of phrase-oriented idea instead of a blues lick idea. And then for the Hendrix thing, again, check out the playlist I'm going to leave at the end, but I keep pointing over here. It's not there yet. It will be. But take the fragments of the chords and see if you can find those inside your scale so it's easy to shift around positions, getting from one chord to another. And you'll be shocked that you can get this really, modern country music does this really good. Even if you like country or you hate country, they're really good at making this Hendrix kind of double stop R&B thing more modern and melodic, and it just sounds awesome, and it's a really good thing to have in your bag. If you want to go deep with this kind of stuff, there's brettpapa.com. It supports everything I do. That is my livelihood over there. So if you want to support the cause, bam, brettpapa.com. Check that out. I teach all this kind of stuff over there as well. Over there, I'll put a subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like the video, that would be awesome, and click the bell if you subscribe so you get notified when the new videos come out. I try to post 3 times a week. So over there will be that Hendrix playlist I was telling you about, so you can kind of steep yourself in that Hendrix thing and then put the two together and you'll be on your way. You're amazing. Thank you for the continued support. We'll catch you next time.